Good afternoon. Last class, we start to learn about Tipu Sultan, the Tiger of Mysore. See, Tipu Sultan, he was a son of Hyder Ali, who was ruled Mysore state from 1761 to 1782. See, here the Tipu, he was one of the strong ruler, the powerful, and he was completely stopped the export of sandalwood, pepper, and cardamom through the ports of its kingdom, ports of his kingdom, and also he was disallowed the local merchants from trading with the company. See, and also he was taken the another one tremendous, that is about, he was maintained the close relationship with the French in India. Those were actually the enemies of British, and with the help of the French, he was modernized his army. Understood now? See, this because of all this development which are gone through the Tipu Sultan, the British, they were worried about, they were furious. They saw Hyder and Tipu as ambitious, arrogant, and dangerous rulers who had controlled and crushed, had to be controlled and crushed. So they were very much furious. See, they were continuously fought four wars, the British East India Company. So in 1767 and 69, it's called the first Anglo Mysore War, 1769 to 67 to 69, and the same the second Anglo Mysore War. So between 1780 to 84, and again the third Anglo Mysore War, so which was held in 1792-92, 1792-92, and the fourth Anglo Mysore War. So the first, the second, the third, and the fourth. See, the fourth Anglo Mysore War, which was held in 1799. So, it's what a very significance of this Anglo Mysore War. So, continuously, Tipu Sultan, he was defeated the British and East India Company force all these three Anglo Mysore Wars. Then you can imagine the power of Tipu Sultan, because he was modernized his army, and himself he was the brave soldier and the powerful king, and was maintained a very close relationship with the French also, those who are enemies to the English or the British people, and also was modernized his army also, and even so during that time only he was used the rockets in the war field also. The first Indian was used the modernized weapons in the war field. See, there were four wars between the East India Company and Tipu Sultan. So the first Anglo-Mysore War in 1767 to 69, and then second Anglo-Mysore War 1780 to 84, and third Anglo-Mysore War 1790 to 92, and fourth Anglo-Mysore War in 1799. See, in these three wars, first, second, and third war, the East India Company or the British force so completely defeated by the Tipu Sultan. And unfortunately, the last Anglo Mysore War, which was held in Srirangapatnam, which was the capital city of Mysore state. So, Tipu Sultan he was defeated by the East India Company force of the British. And it is actually even it is called as a Sringapatnam. 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 That means so the present Srirangapatnam, which was the capital city of the Mysore state. See, then we can understand that how he was powerful and the great king of our country. See, in the fourth Anglo-Mysore War, when the Tipu Sultan was defeated by the British, then afterwards the company ultimately win a victory. Then afterwards, what happened? So that was a closer, a very uh, painful things because after that the company forced for the huge compensation when he was failed to pay, especially during 1792 war. So this was one of the remarkable events in our Indian history. So when in the third Anglo-Mysore war, which was actually attacked by the force, combined force, see that actually the Marathas also joined with the British East India Company. If suppose the Marathas, if they were not didn't join, if the war may be with only the East India Company or the British, now we may expect that the result it may differ. But now, unfortunately, the Marathas also joined with the British and the combined force they were attacked. So during the time, so Tipu was forced to sign the Treaty of Srirangapatnam. And during the time only, so the Tipu Sultan he was lost his two sons also because his sons were taken away from the Tipu Sultan as hostages. ತನ್ನ ಇಬ್ಬರು ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಸೊ ಒತ್ತೆ ಹಾಳಾಗಿ ಇಡಬೇಕಾದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಸುಲ್ತಾನ್ಗೆ ಎದುರಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಎನಿಹೌ Tipu Sultan was killed defending his capital Srirangapatnam by the British, and once again Mysore was placed under the former ruling dynasty, which you know already, the Mysore Wadayars. So once again the Wadayar dynasty, I mean, so the Wadayars they came to power and the subsidiary alliance was imposed on the state. Whatever came to power in the sense, actually, the British East India Company so restored once again the former ruling dynasty in the Mysore state. And after that, East India Company it was imposed the subsidiary alliance also on the Mysore state. So already you all of you knows that dear students. So I explained in the previous class only the significance and the detailed information about the subsidiary alliance. Now, I told that here the British fellows and the East India Company followed the divide and rule policy, which cannot understand by our Indian rulers or local rulers. See, while fought with the Tipu, the Marathas they were joined with the British, but unfortunately again, so they were torn back against the Marathas. Once again, there we can see the Anglo Maratha Wars. ಮರಾಠರು ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರಿಗೆ ಸಹಾಯವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಟಿಪ್ಪುವಿನ ವಿರುದ್ಧವಾಗಿ. ಕೊನೆಗೆ ಟಿಪ್ಪುವನ್ನು ಕೊಂದ ನಂತರ ಒಡೆಯರ ಒಂದು ಸಂತತಿಯನ್ನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವರು ರಿಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ನಂತರ ಮರಾಠರ ವಿರುದ್ಧನೇ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರು ತಿರುಗಿಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. From the late 18th century, now let us discuss about war with the Marathas. War with the Marathas. Late 18th century, the company also sought to curb and eventually destroyed Maratha power step by step. During the late 18th century, see, with their defeat in the Third Battle of Panipat, which was held in 1761, the Battle of Panipat. So, this is actually Third Battle of Panipat. See, which was held in 1761. So, the Marathas they were defeated by the British in the Third Battle of Panipat. So, in 1761. 1761. See, actually the Marathas' dream and the vision, it's so vast and wide. The vision of the Marathas and the dream of the Marathas. What was their vision and the dream? That is actually, so the Marathas wants to rule from the Delhi. But unfortunately, when the Marathas they were defeated by the British in the Third Battle of Panipat in 1761, so the dream of the Marathas, that is about ruling from the Delhi, it was completely shattered. Completely shattered. See, afterwards, they were divided into many states under different chiefs. What happened after that? After the Third Battle of Panipat. So, they were actually divided into many states under different chiefs. The chiefs they were called as Sardars. So, here, when they were divided into many states, such as under actually different head or chief, those who called as a Sardars. So, belonging to the dynasties, there are the entire Maratha, so it was divided into different dynasties also. They were led by the different Sardars or chiefs. Especially during this time, we can see the major Sindhya, Holkar and Bonesley. Sindhya, Holkar, Bonesley and Gaikwad. See, they were divided into different dynasties such as Sindhya, Holkar, Bonesley and Gaikwad. See, these chiefs were held together in a confederacy, under a Peshwa. So this what become a conference. Understood now? So the when they were when they were formed the confederacy under a Peshwa. So the Peshwa, he was actually during this time he was called as a principal minister. He was at the head of this confederacy. Understood now? So together they were formed confederacy, and the head of this used to call as a Peshwa. So who was principal minister? So the Peshwa, that means principal minister. See, the principal minister or Peshwa, who became its effective military and administrative head based in Pune, present Pune or Pune. And after that, Mahatma Sindhia and Nana Fadnis. So they were actually the two famous Maratha soldiers and statesmen. So during this late 18th century, these two characters were Mahatma Sindhia and Nana Fadnavis. So they were the great soldiers and statesmen during the late 18th century. Now, afterwards, dear students, the Marathas were subdued in a series of wars. The same how we studied the first, second, third Anglo Mysore War. The same. So the series of wars they were faced in the first war that ended in 1782 with the Treaty of Salt. So, in the first Anglo Maratha War, what happened? The result of the first Anglo Maratha War. So, it was resulted with the Treaty of Solvay, which was ended in 1782. The first Anglo Maratha War ended with the Treaty of Solvay. Then after that, so what happened? Because in the first Maratha War, which was ended with this Treaty of Solvay, so there was no clear victor. There was no clear result whether the Marathas won or whether the war was won by the British. So there was no clear picture, and there was no clear result also, which was ended in 1782, the first Anglo-Maratha War. And the second Anglo-Maratha War, the second Anglo-Maratha War, so it was began in 1803 and continued up to 1805. The second Anglo-Maratha War. So it was began in 1803 and gone up to 1805. See, this was fought on different fronts. So the resulting in the British gaining Varisha and the territories north of the Yamuna River, which was including Agra and Delhi. What happened? The result of the second Anglo-Maratha War, which was held in 1803 and 1805. So, in the first Anglo-Maratha War, which was held in 1782, so there was no clear victor, and the war it was ended with the Treaty of Solvay, and afterwards the second Anglo-Maratha War it was began in 1803 and it was up to 1805. So, in this war actually, so fought on different fronts, resulting in the British, so gaining Orissa and the territories north of the Yamuna River, which was including the Delhi and Agra. So here, so completely the authority of the Orissa and even so the north of the Yamuna River, which was including the Delhi and Agra, that goes under the control of the British. Then finally, dear students, the third Anglo-Maratha War off, when it was begun in 1817, again 2 years it was continued up to 1819. The third Anglo-Maratha War, which was begun in 1817 and up to 1819. The third Anglo-Maratha War. See, finally this third Anglo-Maratha War, so it was completely crushed Maratha power. So what was the result of this third Anglo-Maratha War? So after the third Anglo-Maratha War, in this war, completely the Maratha power, it was crushed by British East India Company force. Then after what happened? So the Peshwa was called as the principal minister. So he was removed and sent away to Bitur, which was nearest to the Kanpur, with some of the pension. ಆತನಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪೆನ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆತನನ್ನ ಬಿತೂರ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಪ್ರದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾನ್ಪುರದ ಹತ್ರ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. And afterwards, the company now had complete control over the territories south of the Vindhyas. After the result of this, after the crushing of the Maratha power, so completely the whole territories south of the Vindhyas that goes under the control of the company. So this is how even the Tipu and afterwards, so the Marathas, they were lost their powers, which is a very painful history of our India. So next class we are going to discuss about the claim to paramountcy. The claim to paramountcy. Thank you. Have a nice day.